In the 18th century, there was a disease so deadly, so terrifying. It didn't just kill people, it erased entire families. It was called smallpox, a virus that scarred the living and claimed nearly 30% of its victims. But one man changed the fate of humanity forever. Before modern medicine, before laboratories and vaccines, smallpox was unstoppable. It spread through the air, through touch, through breath. Blisters would cover the body, fever would rise, and within days, death often followed. Entire villages lived in fear. Kings, queens, children, no one was safe. But deep in rural England, a quiet observation would spark a revolution. His name was Edward Jenner, a country doctor, not famous, not powerful, but curious. He noticed something strange. Milkmaids, women who worked with cows, rarely caught smallpox. Instead, they sometimes got a much milder disease called cowpox. And once they recovered, they never got smallpox. Why? That question would change the world. To prove his theory, Edward Jenner would have to do something bold, something no one had ever dared before. It was the year 1796. In a quiet English village, Jenner made a decision that would forever change medical history. He collected fluid from the blister of a milkmaid infected with cowpox, a disease far less dangerous than its deadly cousin, smallpox. Then he turned to a young boy, 8 years old, healthy, unaware of the moment he was about to become part of.
His name was James Phipps. With steady hands but a racing mind, Jenner introduced the cowpox material into the boy's body. Days passed. The child developed a fever, slight discomfort, a few visible symptoms, but nothing severe. And then he recovered completely. For most, the experiment would have ended there. But Jenner knew this was only the beginning. To truly test his idea, he had to face the unimaginable. He exposed the boy to smallpox itself, a disease that had killed millions, a virus that showed no mercy. The risk was enormous, the stakes unthinkable. Silence filled the waiting days. Would the boy fall ill? Would history remember this as a tragedy or a miracle? Then, something extraordinary happened. Nothing. No fever, no blisters, no sign of disease. The virus had no power. For the first time in human history, a person had been deliberately protected against one of the deadliest diseases on Earth. In that quiet moment, without applause, without celebration, the world had changed forever. Jenner had just created the world's first vaccine. The word itself comes from vacca, the Latin word for cow. His idea was simple, yet revolutionary. Expose the body to a weaker virus so it can fight a stronger one. At first, people were skeptical. Some were even terrified. Rumors spread that people might turn into cows. But science was stronger than fear. Over time, Jenner's methods spread across the world. Vaccination campaigns began. Lives were saved. Millions, then billions were protected. And nearly 200 years later, something mind-blowing happened. In 1980, the World Health Organization made a historic announcement. Smallpox was officially eradicated. The first and only human disease ever completely wiped out. One observation, one experiment, one act of courage led to the birth of modern immunology. Today, every vaccine, every life saved carries the legacy of Edward Jenner. A reminder that sometimes the smallest idea can create the biggest impact in human history.